hello, my name is Eben, and I'm still here. Some of you may have been helping your families in the garden, or you might know someone who works on the farm. And this time of year is when all the hard work that you or your loved one has put into the gardening or farming is going to pay off. And I thought we could learn a little bit more about that with a book I have today called Strega Nona's Harvest. And Strega is an Italian word that means witch, and Nona is an Italian word that means grandmother. So, Grandma Witch's Harvest. Strega Nona's Harvest by Tomie de Paula. It says, for Greg and all the fine folks at Spring Ledge Farm, and this was published by the Penguin Group. It was spring, and all the snow had melted. The rich earth was beginning to warm. Strega Nona pulled out a small wooden box that had been hidden away in the dark cupboard all winter. "Aha!" she said as she took out small packets of seeds she had saved from last year's garden. "Chi siete I miei amici piccoli? Here you are, my little friends." "Why were all those seeds in the dark, Strega Nona?" Big Anthony asked. "Well, mio caro, my dear," Strega Nona answered. "They had to rest, just like you do, so they will be able to do their job when we plant them in the garden." "When will we plant them, Strega Nona?" Bombolona asked. "When la luna, the moon, tells us, Bombolona. Then we will plant each kind of seed carefully in the right place. After all, we can't just throw the seeds into the ground in a big pile. A garden must be orderly so it is easy to pick the vegetables." Now let me look in my Libro di Giardino garden book to see what we did last year. Every year, Strega Nona wrote down in her book what she had planted, when and where. She never put the same vegetables in the same spot twice. So there it looks like one year was pumpkin and melon and tomato, and the next year was leeks and turnips and carrots, and then after that was peas and beans, and then finally was kale and cabbage and lettuce. "We have to move them around," she told her young helpers, "so the soil will stay happy and strong. But first, Anthony, you must spread the compost and manure we saved all winter and rake it into the soil so our vegetables will grow as big and beautiful as can be." So Big Anthony put a clothespin on his nose and did his job. Poor Anthony has to do the thankless work of raking the manure and compost into the soil. And it looks like even Bombolona can't help but laugh or cover up a gag when she hears what Big Anthony has to do. "Children, come," called Strega Nona. It's almost the end of Maggio, May, and there will be a full moon tonight. It is time to plant. Now, Anthony, I want you to make nice straight rows in the soil at the end of the hoe. That's where the seeds will go. Big Anthony, Bambolona scolded, you're not making the rows straight enough. You know that Strega likes everything perfect, she added, and so do I.
Bambolona is so bossy, Big Anthony thought. Someday I'll show her I can do something perfect too.
Don't you just love it when people are more than willing to offer criticism, but not at all willing to help? And there they are, preparing all the seeds, which have been labeled in Italian, so we can learn some Italian. This is pumpkin, which in Italian is zucca. And this is another kind of pumpkin, also called zucca. And this is eggplant, which is melanzano. And this is peas, which are pisello. And this is cabbage, which is cavolo. Tomatoes, pomodoro. Zucchini, zucchino. Artichoke, carciofo. Beans, fagiolo. And last but not least, and my favorite, melone, which is melon. And they're putting all these seeds into the earth during the day because at night it will be a full moon. That night, when the full moon rose in the sky, Strega quietly crept out to the garden. She looked up at the moon and sang, "Oh, Bella Luna, smile on me, and on the seeds I sow, and let the moonbeams shine from thee to make my garden grow. And now for the ingrediente segreto, the secret ingredient." Strega blew 3 kisses to the moon. "Oh," said Big Anthony as he watched her. Suddenly he spied some seeds that had dropped on the ground. "I know, I'll plant my own perfect garden behind the goat shed. I'll show Bambolona." So Big Anthony poked some holes in the ground. He threw in the seeds and covered them with compost and manure. He watered and watered. And there's Big Anthony working hard in the middle of the night after watching Strega. Then he sang Strega song. "Oh, Bella Luna, smile on me, and on the seeds I sow, and let the moonbeams shine from thee to make my garden really grow." And he blew the 3 kisses to the moon, and just to be sure, he blew 3 more. As it did every year, Strega garden grew beautifully. And there is Strega garden and Big Anthony's secret garden. And there is Strega garden with everything neatly lined up. And there is Big Anthony's garden, which looks a little bit like a forest. Soon bright green insalata salad was on the table. Fresh peas were added to the pasta from Strega Nona's pasta pot. Green beans were cooked in olive oil, and the other vegetables were growing beautifully too. Big Anthony's secret garden was growing as well, but not quite so beautifully. It looked like a jungle.
Mamma mia, Big Anthony thought. I can't let Bombolona or Strega Nona see this mess.
And there is Big Anthony's garden. And it's growing so quickly, it's even wrapping around his shovel. Or I think that's a hoe. And sure enough, there is Strega Nona's garden with each vegetable clear and easy to point out. And there is Big Anthony's garden, which is overgrown. And here is Strega Nona's garden with all the vegetables ready to be picked. And here is Big Anthony's garden, which just looks like a treetop with a few pumpkins sticking out. Now it was time to harvest the vegetables that Strega Nona would keep over the winter. And there are Strega Nona and her helpers gathering the vegetables and fruits onto the wagon. It wasn't long before the root cellar and the rafters in the kitchen were full. Molto bene, very good, said Strega Nona to Bombolona and Big Anthony. A job well done. We all deserve a good rest. But Big Anthony didn't have time to rest. He had other work to do.
I've got to pick all my vegetables. What will I do with them?
He said. And there's Big Anthony peering over the fence behind the goat shed, and all of those fruits and vegetables are climbing up the fence. He better do something and fast. The next morning, when Strega Nona opened the door, she found a big pile of vegetables. Santo cielo! Good heavens, Strega Nona said. Where did these come from? She called Big Anthony and Bombolona. My children, please carry all these vegetables into the kitchen. Grazie, thank you. There is Big Anthony and Bombolona quickly carrying the vegetables into the kitchen. Every morning there were more vegetables outside the door. Soon there was hardly any room to move in the kitchen. Maybe these are from the villagers, Strega Nona thought. Perhaps they had too good of a harvest. Well, I must find out, and soon, if this goes on, I won't have room to sleep in my little bed at night. There's Strega Nona looking frustrated with all the vegetables that are coming into the kitchen. The next morning, Strega Nona packed a basket of vegetables. I'll take these to the sisters at the convent, and maybe they'll know something. Oh, grazie, Strega Nona, the Mother Superior said. You must have heard our prayers. Our garden didn't do well this season. In fact, no one's garden in the village did. We had too much rain down here while you had lots of sun on your hill. And there are the nuns in the church who are practically hugging Strega Nona because they are so relieved to have her bring some vegetables in the basket because their garden didn't grow any. So Strega Nona went right to the mayor.
Si, yes, Strega Nona, Signor Mayor said. The harvest was poor this year.
Well, I have more than enough to share, Strega said. I will have a harvest feast tomorrow evening at sundown. Tell everyone to come. And Strega practically ran up to her little house. Bambalona, Big Anthony, come quickly, Strega said. We have much work to do. I am going to have a harvest feast for all our friends and neighbors. We shall share our bounty. And there is Strega ready with the ladle. And they're preparing all these delicacies: fresh melon soup, insalata, which is salad, and some baked squash. Everyone in the village could come, including the nuns from the church, and enjoy the food. And there were so many vegetables that people could even take some home after they were done eating. It's a lot of food. Evviva! Evviva! Hurrah! Hurrah for Strega! Everyone shouted. Arrivederci! Buonanotte!
Goodbye!
Good night! Strega and her two helpers called out. Strega looked around at her empty kitchen. Well, that took care of that, she said with a smile. But I still wonder where all those vegetables came from. And she climbed into bed. Later that night, it looks like Big Anthony has still got some leftover pumpkins. Well, that is the end of the story. And the lesson in this story is to be careful when you play with magic. Well, thank you so much for joining me again. I hope this story will give you some idea of what you can find out in the garden or on the farm. And be sure to visit your nearest farmer's market within the next couple of weeks, because this is the time when all the farmers are bringing the vegetables in from the field. I'd also like to thank Miss Amy for making these videos possible, and so that we could continue the series. I'd like to thank my mother again for filming still. And if you would like to see more videos like this one, you can join us on https://www.facebook.com/theairlibrary/videos. I'm looking forward to reading to you again soon. Bye-bye.